Your Steve Jones Show podcast is loading now. The Steve Jones Show podcast is sponsored by Sunbury Motors, North 4th Street in Sunbury, and Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf.
We bring in our good friend, one of the best in the business, that I will usually mention to my class, pick out people to emulate. A guy like Michael Barkann would be pretty good. Michael, welcome. Great to have you with us.
Steve-O, what's up, buddy? How are you?
Doing. This is what I feel like, Michael. We are witnessing what we may look back on as a golden era of Philadelphia sports, based on what we've seen the last 6 months.
Well, first of all, thanks for the kind words. Greatly appreciated, and I feel the same exact way about you, my friend. So thank you.
Thank
but
you.
I think that it's funny how things flip on a dime, and in life, and certainly in sports. Because about a year ago, there were people on the Ben Franklin Bridge that we had to pull off.
That's right.
And, the Eagles bounced from the playoffs after an opening round loss. The Phillies did not look like they were going anywhere. Sixers, another first-round exit in the playoffs. The Flyers, forget about it. And now you look what happens a year later, and that's why you never can tell. You just don't know. So the Sixers look like they might be able to really this time get to the championship round. The Phillies, I think, are poised to make another attack on a National League pennant. And your Philadelphia Eagles are favorites to win the Super Bowl. And I don't think we thought that would necessarily be the situation 1 year ago. And yet here we are. So it does turn around, and it's a reason to have hope. And I think as long as you have hope, you're doing pretty good in life. If you have no hope, we're down in the dumps indeed. But you have hope, that says everything. And I think at this time, in this town, and the fans of these teams, there's every reason to believe that we will have a parade in a week or so.
When they made the A.J. Brown trade, I was taken aback because you don't usually see a trade like that in the NFL. When they made that trade, what was your initial thought process of what the Eagles could be the day they made it?
I thought, really, the sky's the limit. And, when Andy Reid was coach here, they had obviously excellent teams and made the NFC Championship round 5 times and made the Super Bowl once. But they really, other than the T.O. year, they really did not have wide receivers that you could bank on when you knew that they were going to be game breakers and game changers. It just was not the case. And they had some fine wide receivers, but they weren't in the league of A.J. Brown or T.O., obviously. So when I heard that news, and you add A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, and you've got Quez Watkins who can contribute, and you've got a great pass-catching as well as blocking tight end in Dallas Goedert, I thought this is a recipe for a real powerful offense, and that's what we've seen.
Leadership makes a big difference in any good organization. Nick Sirianni has done no question, has done a terrific job with this. But he told everybody last night, I had 2 10-year veterans on the offensive line and 2 10-year veterans on the defensive line that I could lean on. What has that combination meant to a coach in that position to have guys like that?
It means that everybody's taking their job seriously. There's no one who is missing a beat or, there's no stone left unturned. And between the leaders along the offensive line and the defensive line, and you got a quarterback in Jalen Hurts who has a father for a coach, and his brother as well, play competitive football, you have a guy that can keep his teammates in line, for the lack of a better word, who is a leader and who is someone that guys will follow. And as a coach, that is so beyond anything you could ever hope for, because it makes your job easier in that you can pay attention to the game plan. You can pay more attention to the X's and O's. You don't have to worry about our guys hustling as much as they can, or they're getting the most out of practice when your back is turned. There's no sloughing off at all. because you've got these guys who have been there before and knows what it takes to win at the highest level. Certainly that's the case with Lane Johnson and Jason Kelsey and Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham. And you add in Jalen Hurts, you got everything covered, you know? Yeah. And that is invaluable to a head coach.
There's something that I think goes to any profession, and this is, I'll go back to something I mentioned in my classroom. I always tell them you have to have the humility to prepare and then the confidence to pull it off. It goes to anything. Jalen Hurts, when nobody was watching, and you're a perfect example of that, by the way. All the preparation you put in shows in every show that you do. When nobody was watching Jalen Hurts, he worked. Where did you see the results in that work come to fruition? What was maybe just a little bit different, a little bit better this year when you watched him, Michael?
Well, certainly the way he commands the offense, his knowledge of the offense, his instinct. Yeah. You know, you can have great instincts as a natural athlete, which he does and is, but when you know how the offense is run, and you're a leader, I'll tell you that the one place where it really came to the surface, Steve, is after they won the bye week, after the regular season. Nick Sirianni gave him, Monday off. And he called up Nick Sirianni, much to the chagrin of Sirianni's children and Nick's wife, whom, by the way, is a Missouri native, and Nick met while he was assistant coach of the Chiefs. He said, I want you to come in. I think we should go over film. And so Nick was like, okay. So there is the quarterback calling the head coach saying, I'm not taking the day off. You can't take the day off. Let's go. And that has really shown the dedication of Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni, but certainly Jalen Hurts. And you know what kind of command he has of this offense. You're less apt to make a mistake. Certainly one of knowledge and instinct if you know the offense like the back of your hand. And that's what that has shown.
This year, the Eagles had 77 sacks in 19 games. That includes the playoffs. 57 came off a four-man rush. In that four-man rush, they acquired Hassan Reddick. You watched some terrific pass rushers. What makes him special?
Well, one is speed. I mean, he just and his leverage, his ability to out-leverage guys. He might not necessarily be the bigger player in the matchup, but he's so fast, and he reads the line so well, and he knows where the gaps are. He knows where the weak spots are in the offensive line, and he just goes and gets them. And then you've got other guys that the offensive line needs to worry about, like Brandon Graham, like Sweat, like who's the other guy? Brandon Graham and Josh Sweat, and Fletcher Cox.
Hargrave. Fletcher Cox, Hargrave.
Yeah. Yeah. And so then you throw in Ndamukong Suh and Linval Joseph, and all of a sudden they're coming at you from all sides. And I think that he has his line mates are taking a lot of the pressure off of him and allowing him to just one-on-one beat his guy. And he gets to the quarter. He's so fast and he's so strong. And I love the fact that he's from here. He knows what it means to play in Philadelphia, grew up in Camden, went to Temple. That's a heck of a weight on an athlete's shoulders, and there are many athletes that can't handle it. Well, certainly if you're from Chicago, New York, Boston, Philadelphia, those are sports towns, and you come back to play at home, you better be able to do it, and he has shown that he can. So I would say first and foremost, it's his speed.
Quick note to Kyle Shanahan, considered to be an offensive genius. And believe me, and I respect him tremendously. I wouldn't have used a tight end on him. All right, so
right, one-on-one. right. Same here.
You do know seven's good, right? I'm just asking for a friend.
Yeah, asking for a friend. Maybe bring someone over. Have a little party.
You're the best, man. I always love talking to you. Thanks so much, Michael. Appreciate you.
So do I. Thanks, Steve. Anytime.